Got
No.
one more week of August.
Welcome to another Friday Trust Engine Mastermind. I am Todd Bookspan, the co-founder of this mastermind that we started in 2016, where we've come to you just about every Friday to deliver greatness. Dave Savage and myself, and we were joined about 5 years ago by my good friend, the CEO of Plug and Play SM, Deborah Byrd. What is going on?
Happy Friday. And, just a reminder, we got 1 week left of August. So hopefully you guys already have your win by noon plan for the week next week so you can crush it and have a great Labor Day.
That is a great way to crush the week and Labor Day and the month. And it's always fun. Dave is off educating the world at some mortgage company, and we get to run the show, which is a lot of fun. And it was fun because I'm super excited about this guest. It's someone that I've known for, I don't know, maybe I gotta say maybe close to a decade, but I could be wrong, Brian. You'll have to correct me. But we have Brian Manning on, and Brian, to me, exemplifies a lot. Now, the secret is that I coached Brian. So when you coach somebody, you have a different view into them, not just as a human and as a father, as a husband, but and as an originator, but really just kind of what makes them tick. And there's something as a coach, and I just had the pleasure of Deborah and Brian meeting each other for the first time, and Deborah's like, "Well, who's your favorite?" Because I said they're two of my favorite people, and but when you're a coach, you also have clients who, every client's great, but some clients just show up different. Some clients execute at a higher level. Some clients take the relationship and their business more serious. And that was always Brian Manning. Brian's a LO out of Boulder, Colorado, crushes huge volume there, has been building, he's always had a team, but has been building a team as of recent. So welcome, Mr. Brian Manning.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Todd, thanks for having me here. Deborah, thank you very much as well. And, circling back to what you said a second ago, Deborah, I'm with you. I think August is the month to win. I think a lot of people go on vacation in the month of August, and kids are going back to school, kids are out of school. And I think August is when, if you crush August, you will set yourself up for the rest of the year. And I think a lot of people get kind of lazy in August. So yeah, if your win by noon is spot on in the month of August, for sure, going into fall is going to be a great one for you.
I think that's an interesting perspective because, right, everyone's in a different part of the country, and everyone, it revolves around school and vacations. And everyone thinks about, it used to be you had to start winning in January because that was the first of the year. And then everyone's like, well, no, you got to start winning now in November to be planning for December and January. And so I love it. First person ever. You heard it here. It's time to win August.
I mean, I think people take time off in December. So, it's like we're motivated to just like finish the year so strong, but the rest of the world is not motivated to finish the year strong. So Thanksgiving, the New Year's is the hardest time. It's a great time to work on yourself, but the world is slowing down at that point in time. So I also think you got to pick the times when you can win as well in the market. And yeah, Thanksgiving and New Year's is not, for me, not the time for us to win. That's for sure. It's time to go on
Well,
vacation.
there's definitely a sweet spot of people who may have had FOMO or they wanted to buy and get the move during the summer before the school year started, but it's like they definitely want to get in before the holidays. As
Yep.
soon as the holidays come, to your point, I do feel like the interest in just, you're traveling, people are buying gifts and shipping them, and it's like you do have this sweet spot where if you could reel them in and dial in on your strategy, you could
Mhm.
definitely win bigger.
For sure. Now, it's a great time of year to throw a client holiday appreciation event. That's for sure. So I think that there is a good time to capitalize on business there and relationships, and I think that that's a great one to do in November for sure. It's just a matter of knowing your market and not being tone deaf to the room.
Yes.
Well, and I want to unpack that too, because you're kind of in a unique market, but you mentioned client appreciation, and I do think you do one of the coolest client appreciation events. You've always done it around food, but
Yep.
kind of talk through what you've done the last couple of years around, I forgot the name of the race, the Boulder, whatever run it is.
Yeah, so client appreciation. I actually learned this from Tim Brahim and Terry Moyler from the Loan Toolbox many, many, many years ago when Terry Moyler said, "Oh, I do a client appreciation party. It's always the second Thursday in November. People are feeling giving, centering around food at that time." And she did an appreciation event where she paid for everything through the party and your admittance was a couple cans of food. So I just, took that idea from her. We're on our 11th year of doing this now. Same thing. It's always second Thursday in November. Ours is a little bit different. I love music, so we kind of throw a concert every time. So it's a music oriented event. Where this year we're going to partner up with Community Food Share. So they're a nonprofit here in Boulder. It's kind of astounding the amount of people that live at a poverty level around you that you're not even familiar with until you pay attention to the statistics. So we'll raise money for them, and yeah, it's just a fun event that we do, and we just invite everyone we know. It's a good time to
Well,
do
that's
it.
it, right? You talk about it on social media, like just stop by, and you guys do it at your house, right? And there's a running race going around too at the same time, so you're like cheering on the
Yeah,
runners.
that one's different. So that's so every May Memorial Day,
Well, so you do
we do
two
we
client
basically
events.
do two events per year. Yeah. So May Memorial Day, there's an event called Boulder Boulder. I think I don't know, it's like second largest road race in the world. It's 50,000 people that run this race, and my house happens to be right on the race course. So we throw a Boulder Boulder party every year as well. Same thing, music. We got a brass band that plays, and but it's fun because it starts with pro am. First, it actually starts with adaptive sports. So people in like carbon fiber wheelchairs, which are crazy fast, and then it goes to pro am runners. Then it goes to runners, and then like the last 30 to 40,000 people are people that just want to walk and party. So I think last year I went through 9 kegs of beer by 9:45 in the morning.
Whoa. Please stream live.
Yeah, yeah. I had a festival beer truck with my, banner and everything all over it, and everyone's getting my cup and my branding, and it's, 30,000 people going by the party. It's a fun one for sure.
Well, there we go. And so I think that was I think it speaks highly to the fact that you have a business plan and you execute on your plan, which I think is kind of one of the challenges that people have, right? You already started off saying this is a great month, August, because in August is when other people are kind of taking their foot off the gas. But
Yep.
one of the things that I know about you is that you're not afraid to work hard, right? We grew up in this world where everyone's like, be be in demand, not on demand. I work banker's hours, train your clients. But one of the things that you've always said is, hey, I'm going to work really hard when I work. And then you'll take a month's vacation too, and just be
Yep.
unplugged and let your team run your business. And I think that
That's right.
that's one of the things I want people to sort of see, because you literally post on Facebook, hey, I'm your guy. If you need to help this weekend, I'm your loan officer. So kind of walk me through what gave you that philosophy.
So the end of every year, I buy next year's big wall calendar, and I put up on my wall, and I just put all the big rocks in there. And the first thing I do is I take the month of December, and I put a big red X through the entire month, and I just write vacation. So I already know that December is like, that's it. I'm going on vacation. And then we do a lot of realtor luncheons, and we do these through several markets in our area. So then I'll look at our calendar, holidays, when school's getting out, school's starting, and I'll just schedule out our year for all of the realtor-based events that we're going to do. And then I always know our Fall Fiesta event is second Thursday in November. I know that our Boulder Boulder appreciation event is going to be on Memorial Day. So I got two big rocks in there for client appreciation events. And then I just kind of filter in small vacations and personal times. I'll be honest with you, I don't take a lot of vacations during the year. My structure is I just work really hard all year and I take a month off. And I take, little quick weekends here and there, just enough to recharge. But I'm working hard through the year to then go take some good time off and go someplace fun.
And you don't, yeah, right. You don't take like a cruise for a month. You go like to Antarctica or somewhere
Yeah,
crazy like.
it's usually somewhere fun. Always out of the country, someplace different, someplace unique. Yeah, just something fun.
What's on the books for 2025 here?
Botswana,
Yeah.
Africa.
All right. Like I
Yeah.
said. And you mentioned realtor luncheons. So walk us through the strategy on realtor luncheons, frequency, how, what's the structure of that lunch?
Yeah, let's start with the structure, then we can go into frequency. I think the first problem for what I've seen a lot of originators have is they do these luncheons and they just show up and throw up about what they do. I can do, let me tell you about condos and interest rates. And you're not helping a realtor with their business if you're doing a luncheon on condos. They actually don't care that much. The reality should be, I'm the condo expert, call me. I'll do my job. So the first thing we really focus on in our luncheons is creating a format where we're teaching them. And so like we have a new one that will start September 4th, and it's all about countering objections. And we've kind of identified 10 common objections that realtors will see over and over in their career, starting from, I don't want to buy a house right now, interest rates are high, over to, I'm thinking about listing my home, but my cousin's a realtor. So the luncheons that we're always putting together, and we typically, our content changes 3 to 4 times per year, is always going to be focused on how do we help their business. So the one we just wrapped up was winning in today's market. And it was really, focused on a lot was helping them create a unique value proposition in today's market. A lot of realtors don't have a unique value proposition. They never thought about it. No one even ever actually sat down and actually helped train them on how do you do this? What are your bullet points? How do you structure this? And then everything from value propositions then over into scripting as well, because a lot of realtors haven't focused on scripting. They don't really know what to say. I know you all have is it exactly what to say?
Yes.
The format you have. So you all are very dialed in on, probably the very similar format to what we do. And we're just teaching realtors how to be successful in today's market. And I just don't think they care as much about interest rates and loan programs. And the idea of standing up there talking for 45 minutes about my DSCR loan, no one's going to show up. I'm just not helping them in their business. But if I can help them create a unique value proposition for a buyer and a seller, and I can help them really refine what they say when someone says, I'm thinking about buying a house, or I'm thinking about buying a house, what do you say back? Our goal is to really help them grow in their business. So that's kind of the format that we're operating under. And then,
Can I ask you a question on that real quick?
sure.
How do you fill the seats in the rooms? I think there's a lot of fear around, if I commit to hosting an event, what if nobody shows? And then
Yeah.
how do you ensure that it's not the bottom feeders who do which is a terrible, ugly thing to
Yeah,
say, but
that's a
the
great
people who
question.
only do one, sorry, but the ones
Yeah.
that you are wanting to do business with, a lot of times they're really busy and they don't always tend to go to these events. So
For
anything
sure.
on that aspect?
Yeah, that's a great question. So without a doubt, you got to be very, very confident and know that you're going to do an event sometime and not a lot of people are going to show up. And you have to have this, I have this mindset. My suggestion is you have this mindset is it doesn't matter how many people show up. You just need to keep practicing your public speaking skills. And it's like reps. You just got to keep doing your reps. So I don't really care. If 5 people happen to show up, my mindset is I just need to keep practicing this presentation. I need to keep practicing my presentation skills. And I'm just going to use this as a format to continue getting better. So the first thing you have to know is you're going to have a bomb event. Something's going to happen. I mean, I've had events in Colorado where, we have a sellout room and then a blizzard comes and 3 people show up and I've already paid for the venue. Totally out of my control. It is what it is. So that's just part of it. And so filling the room, it's for us, it's a format of phone calls, emails, and text messages. So, and it's also finding a good venue that people want to go to. I think you have to feed people well. If you don't feed people well and you don't have a good venue, they're not going to show up. So we always pick nice venues like Capitol Grill or something like that, which gives the higher producing person an incentive to come to the event because they feel like they're going to be wined and dined someplace nice. Then it's going to be phone calls, emails, text messages. So we just obtain a list of realtors in the area. I think the program we use is called MTA Go. I know it doesn't work everywhere, but you can go into MTA Go, you subscribe to that, and then you can just download all the information out of there. But you can also select out of their transactions. So right now, our next event coming up September 4th, what we start doing is marketing to people that close 10 plus transactions in the last 12 months. That's kind of what we're going for. That's who we feel like is a good producer. That we're ideally trying to fill the majority of the room with is 10 plus transactions in the last 12 months. So we'll market that group for most of the time leading up to it. We start marketing our events 3 weeks in advance, but really marketing kind of gets more hot and heavy 2 weeks out, and majority of our RSVPs will really come when we're 7 days out. So we'll start with that higher producing list. And then once we're about 3 days out, then we'll change it. We'll just open it up to anyone that closed 5 or more transactions, which the list explodes with people that are on there, and that kind of fills in the room from there. So if we look at the agents that come, every event that we do now, it's going to be like 5 to 7 high producing agents. So say we have 30 people in the room, 5 to 7 really high producing agents, and then 20, 25 that aren't as high producing. But for me, that's every week I have an opportunity to do a presentation in front of a lot of realtors, and then I'm following up with the top 5 to 7 from there. And we're still calling the rest because the rest will send us business over time. But those are the ones that we're meeting with. So filling the room, I think, is develop the right list through a program like MTA Go, develop content that's helping them in their business, and have your event in a location that they want to go to. Like we've tried a brewery before, total flop. Agents don't want to go to a brewery. Yeah, even though the food was good, private room, at least in Colorado, like it just wasn't a good lunch format. Maybe if we did a happy hour, it'd be obviously a different situation, but for we'll call it for a luncheon, wasn't a good spot. But every market's different.
And so, one of the things that I've always bragged about that you do, because I don't know anyone else who does it, walk through your Friday Realtor text message strategy.
I just did another one. I changed it up this Friday. And I think my video said something like, my goal is to be the #1 originator in the state of Colorado. And I'm going to ask you for help on this. And my goal, my ask is not for your next referral. My ask is that if you know any agent in your office, on your team, or a friend of yours that's struggling with the deal that's in process right now, I'd love to be connected with them. So the idea of the video was like, I'm not asking you for any direct business. I'm just asking you to connect me with someone that you might know that has a deal that's struggling right now. Because the reality is there's just, a lot of deals that fall apart. And I said on that video, I'm going to send this to every single realtor on my phone, starting with Ashley Anderson all the way down to Zach Zelder. And I literally pulled out my phone and I just started, because all my contacts are labeled as realtor. And I think I sent out like 1,500 of those videos. First day, 17 referrals. Wow. That was my video. I want to be #1 in Colorado and I need some help. I'm not asking you for your next referral. I'm not asking you for your business. I'm just asking you if you could connect me with someone that's struggling with the deal that's falling apart right now. And then it was like something like, and if you think this is spam, I'm so sorry. Thanks for at least making it 30 seconds through this. And I'm going to send this from Ashley Anderson to Zach Zeldner. It was just that. It was like me outside taking the video on my iPhone. So yeah, 17 referrals first day, sending that out.
That's pretty awesome. And so that was one where you sent the same video to everybody.
Same video to every single person, every single realtor.
Mm-hmm. And are you still doing individualized videos as well?
I'm doing those as well. Yeah. So those I'll watch social media during the week, and I'll see what people have going on in their life. Kids going back to school, vacation. Doesn't really matter what it is. I'm just monitoring, what's happening in their life.
And I call that social stalking.
Yeah, social stalking. There you go, Deborah. I always say we're professional. I'm a professional realtor stalker. I joke around when I say that. So I monitor that stuff, and on Friday I'll be like, "Hey, Deborah, I saw that your kid got 2 goals at the soccer game this weekend. That's amazing. Congratulations. Just want to let you know I'm available 7 days a week, 8 to 8. Call me anytime." Boop, send. I'm always trying to find something that they can connect with in their life. We're like, oh, it's not just like a canned video. And I can't always find it because some people aren't on social media, haven't posted anything, but the goal is to try and find something that I can have a little bit of a connection with and then send the video from there.
And you're not afraid to send those to agents who aren't using you as well?
No, not at all. No. In fact, our #1 buyer agent, I picked up because I was just sending her those videos. And then she called me one day and she said, "Can I come to your office and meet you?" I said, "Of course." So she came in, she said, "Your videos you send me every Friday, That's why I'm here talking to you, because you're always top of mind for me going into the weekend. And that was it.
How long did you send her those videos every Friday before that happened?
It was like 4 months. Yeah, but I friended her on social media. I learned about her. I saw, what she was doing, her family at the time, and I just kept sending them. She never stopped me. She never said anything. I never got blocked. The videos
Like
kept going through.
unsubscribe, take me off your list. You gotta
Yeah,
love when you do those. You're like, I'm just trying to help you, and you want to unsubscribe?
yeah,
oh.
yeah. So they're definitely worth doing. It's funny. I always feel like we're always looking for like the new shiny object, but man, we have so much opportunity in front of us with the resources that we have available that aren't even that expensive, from free to not that expensive. That's You just got to put in the work.
Mm.
Consistency. Hmm.
All right, we just lost half the audience there. They don't want to put in the work, do the consistency. No, I love our audience. Our audience wants to stay here, but that's one of the things again that always made me respect you, at such a high level, is the fact that you don't just say I do this stuff, you actually do it, and you do it consistently. Of course, I got to brag about you because you're one of my OG Win by Noon users, and I had the pleasure. Brian's got a great podcast, actually. Balance is bullshit. Is that the title of it, or is that just the subtitle?
Well, I had to do balance in motion because Spotify wouldn't let me put curse words in there. So I call it balance is bullshit because I really think it is, but it's technically it's called balance in motion.
I knew it had some other name, but I had a lot of fun, catching up with you this week and in doing that. So when you told me that the first thing you do in the morning is pull up your Win by Noon and makes your wife mad, it made me laugh.
I mean, Win by Noon to me is like this thing just like lives. Yeah, the first thing I do is I wake up and I do a little bit differently. So the highs of my day, I do my highs of yesterday. And that's the first thing I'm doing because I'm always trying to start. We always gloss over our even little wins. All of us are such like fast moving, high producing people that it's sometimes we don't slow down and just think like, oh, here's what a team member did that was a win yesterday, or here's something that really was a win. So I take my highs of the day and I start with what was my wins yesterday, to try and always reflect on what was so good about yesterday, starting the day fresh. And then from there, I use most of it exactly how you have it all written. So yeah, I've been using this for years. It's hands down the best business tracker, and everyone on my team has to use it. And they have to send me a photo of it every single day, and they have to send me a tally photo at the end of every single week.
That's called
Required.
accountability, folks.
Required. Yeah, you cannot be on this team unless you're willing to do that, for sure.
So when you guys follow the themed days, exactly kind of like how like status update Tuesdays, protect pipeline Wednesday, do you guys follow?
I do it a little bit differently. So I don't do status update Tuesday. We do our updates as they come out in the process. So our primary updates are file submitted to underwriting, file approved, appraisal ordered, appraisal done, clear to close. So, and we get notifications as they come in going through these milestones. So instead of just saving it all for Tuesday, we actually are updating everybody live as the transaction is taking place. So mostly we follow the theme days except for updates. That's the one where we just have a constant rolling theme going on. And then people like it because, if someone's waiting on an appraisal to come in and it comes in on Wednesday, we don't want to wait, call it, a week to update them at that time.
Okay, so on the agent masterminds, I'm curious, do you do those once a month? Because I think I interrupted you when you were
no, yeah.
starting to structure, and then
I typically do once a week.
Oh, you do it once a week. Okay.
So we primarily serve roughly 6 different locations with those. So Boulder, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, and then 3 locations in Denver. Central Denver, Denver South, and Denver West. We just find that most people will not drive anything past 20 minutes to go to a luncheon. So if you have an area that has, enough space in a city like Denver, you can't just have one location if you want to capitalize on the entire city. So, so what we're trying to do is 1 per week. So we typically pick our content, and then I'll do 3 events at every location with the content. So like say, the next one is in Denver West. if you can't make it, I already know the next Denver West event. So if someone's like, oh, I can't make it, I'd love to, I'll be great. We have another one coming up on October 10th. Would you like me to RSVP you for that one? I already have the next one planned that I can RSVP them right into. And that's how we fill a lot of our attendees are people that say, oh, I can't make it. Great. Let's just get you right in the next one. So we go for one a week, and I try and do them on Wednesdays or Thursdays.
And so it's
And is it
essentially
every-
one topic for the month that you just reteach every week to the
Yeah,
different.
that's right.
Okay.
Different locations. Yeah. So and we'll do it 2 to 3 times. So one presentation will last, that's like 3 to 4 months worth of content right there. So it's
you're
worth.
basically teaching it, right? You're teaching it in Boulder, the exact same thing 3 times at the same restaurant, but 3
Yep.
different groups of agents show up.
That's right. Yep. So I'm teaching in Boulder, September, October, November. Then I'm done.
And you always keep it at the same restaurant in each city just to keep it easy because you've had success there?
Yeah, I mean, so we went to all the venues in the beginning and we said, hey, here's what we're going to do. We want to make a commitment to using your venue. Here's the dates you want to do for a year. Can you give us a discount? We're willing to commit to doing this with you. And everybody said yes. And then, so now we get a discount from the venues that we use, and we just have a commitment to use all the same places. And once you find the right places, the wait staff knows your drill. Like, you got to be really kind of particular in how you set your event up. For example, once we start speaking, don't come in, don't bring in dessert, don't bring in salads, don't serve water. And it takes you a minute to kind of train the staff to know how you want your event to function, because it's very disruptive to be speaking and then all of a sudden they come in serving dessert. That will break the energy and the vibe in a room really quickly. So part of the value of finding these places and having a very consistent show there is that they learn you learn them, and then you get a very predictable product over and over and over.
Well, then you can go there for date night and they take care of you too.
I haven't done that yet. It's a great idea. See, you're smarter than me, Todd. I never think about this stuff.
So
It's a
you
good
buy all
idea,
their
though.
lunch? Do you take care of the tab for?
I do. I just pay for lunch. I have this thing. So think about this. I go to Capitol Grill. All right. So say lunch costs me $2,000. And I have 30 agents in the room, and 6 of them are high producers. I can probably get appointments afterwards with 4 of the 6. That's all I have space for, because the next week I have another show that's going to happen again. So I don't really have room to meet with more than 4 to 6 agents in that short window anyway. Show me anyone out there that can easily get in front of 4 to 6 high producing agents every single week as a follow-up from the presentation. So and that's worth the $2,000 you spend on the event right there. If you just continue to deliver, is 100% worth it.
Give me the script. So I'm a top producing agent. I show up, and what you're going to call me the next day, or is it the next day or a couple days later, same day?
Always the next day. You got to do it right away. I've found that if you wait 3 days, a week, they fizzled out. Yeah. So the script is, hey, Todd, great to see you yesterday. Thank you so much for being at our event. I really appreciate you being there. I just want to ask if you have some time for lunch or coffee in the next couple of days. That's it.
Right. Not overthinking it.
Yeah, but they've already been to the event. They already just saw me talk for an hour and a half. They already just saw that my focus on 90% of this presentation was to help them in their business. So they already know that the next time for us to get together, that I'm not going there just to puke interest rates on them, because we don't even talk about that once. That's not the goal.
And so is that your main top of funnel strategy when you're looking to get in front of new agents, is essentially inviting them to one of these events, and then you follow up from there and you keep nurturing them by letting them come back, right?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the greatest compliment we get is when we get these people that come back to 3 and 4 and 5 hour events. So that's I would say that's top strategy. Second is, if you follow that Tuesday theme of your status update calls, always courting the listing agent. That is a close number 2 of building our relationships. Courting the listing agent and delivering a process to them and letting them see the experience is the easiest layup of an appointment to go set after you've closed a transaction. So
my guess would be you don't, or you tell me, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you allow your CRM to do that update, or are you calling?
Oh,
Yeah.
So we text them and then I call as well.
Too many, I feel like, have relied on automation
Hmm.
which I remind my clients, like the whole point of the status update call is not just for the status update.
Right. Oh, no, not at all. I'm,
It's a
I'm trying to
reason.
like,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, you're right. I mean, I'm trying to build the relationship with them. So, I'm trying to just kind of crack a little bit of a personal conversation with them through the status update. The whole point of the status update call. Well, let's back up. First, the phone call, you got to get them on the phone the first time. So let's just start with the first phone call. So like you're a listing agent, we have a deal together. My phone call is, hey Deborah, I'm calling about the buyers on 123 Main Street. Call me 720-496-4311. Click. No thank you, no pleasantries. You get a call back like that. That's the phone call. So the first thing is create a little urgency. Then they call me back and then I set the tone for the updates, but I never leave a voicemail for the update. I just say I have an update on this transaction, give me a call. I force them to call me back every single time. And then you
So
kind of just,
that call was when the first call was when it was executed contract? Okay.
exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
I
And
like it.
then just run with it from there. It just takes the discipline of doing it. Circles back to what you said. It's don't automate it. It's not that hard and it's free.
Well, I just feel like at a time, like I hear so many who will ask, I don't know what to say, or there's this call reluctance with calling agents. And I'm like, let's start with the ones that you have something to say,
Mhm.
the ones that you need to be caught. Like that's the easiest point of entry.
Yep.
And, too often I'll hear, oh, well, my CRM already does that. And I'm like, yeah, but the whole point is to make the call so you can deepen the relationship. And then, by the way, before you hang up the phone, it's inviting them to your next event, you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, so you said it. So the one thing is always have an event you can invite people to. I have definitely found that that's a great icebreaker as well. That's part of the reason why we have an event scheduled every week, so I can figure out where that agent is doing business, or kind of like what their focus market is, and then I can invite them to lunch at Capitol Grill, lunch at Angelo's Taverna, somewhere nice where when they hear it, it's automatically going to pique their interest. Like, oh, I'd love to go have lunch there. So there's so much to say. Call reluctance is the best way to call reluctance is just make the freaking phone calls. You just got to pick up the phone and dial. There's no way around it. Like the more you do it, and stand up when you're talking. Don't sit down. Like stand up. Your energy is higher. You sound better, and you just have to call. There's just no way. There's no way around it.
So my little trick to this is I would have people call in states that they weren't licensed in. I'm
Okay.
like, it doesn't matter. So call the big dogs in the whales in Hawaii and just get your reps in where there's no fear of like, what are they going to think? Or what if I bomb? Like bomb on those people,
Yep.
you
What
know?
if you win though, Deborah? What if you win? Then you can't do the loan.
Hey, make sure you know someone you can refer it to.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
funny. I was on a podcast yesterday, and they're like, "Well, what's your favorite tool?" And I'm like, "Well, of course it's Win by Noon." But I'm like, "No, actually, this thing called a phone is my favorite tool because the bottom line is when so many people are relying on text messages right now, emails, the lost art of having a conversation is good." And I really like your strategy there because I do find oftentimes we're kind of relieved when they don't answer the phone. So I can go, hey, great, here's a quick update on 123 Main Street, the appraisal's in, blah, 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 blah. But then you're right, you miss that opportunity to build
Yep.
relationship. And I think people just forget that we talked about the strategy, I think, since, since caveman time, that, the listing agent's easy prospect. And so I really love your straightforward way of, hey, just got an update, give me a call, and
Yep.
forcing them to call you back. And I think that that's just one of those pieces where you're right, Deborah. You got to get in the reps, and you're never going to be perfect, but you might as well just work on it day by day.
Yeah. One thing I've learned is it's easier to set a appointment with a high producing agent than a low producing agent. And the reason why I say that is a high producing agent is typically very organized. They own their schedule and they block time out for those big rocks. Whereas a lower producing agent is frantic. They have not yet figured out how to own their schedule. Someone calls them and says, "Oh, I'm thinking about looking at houses in a week," and then they have a meltdown and they're chasing their tail trying to figure out how do I get ready to show houses for this person in a week. Whereas the high producing agent is very dialed in. They own their schedule. And it's funny, if I look at the people that we meet with, I have so much greater success in meeting with high producing agents than lower producing agents because of their established organizational skills. And they almost never blow off a meeting. They never call and say, "Oh, I have a client flying in from California to look at homes." They own their schedule and they've gotten really good at owning their schedule. And I think to be a great producing realtor, you have to own your schedule because there's so many moving parts with, in their transactions. So I love going after the high producing agents because they show up most of the time.
Well,
So
you've created a value. Go ahead, Deborah.
I was gonna say I'm a new loan officer and I'm a little nervous to make these calls. If we were going to do the work before the work and kind of help people with the most common objections, you'll likely hear that if you just get good at role playing against these common objections, like maybe it's the top 3 that you often hear, what would you say those are so that people can get some of those reps before they make the first call?
I think the challenge with being a new loan officer, let me back up. It would be really difficult for me to just start cold calling agents and just say, hey, do you want to meet with me?
Mm.
I think it's hard to have a compelling conversation when I haven't done anything to build a rapport with them, to just call them out of the blue and say, hey, would you come meet with me? So I would take a little bit different position. I would meet with agents that I know already. And I would say, who do you know that would like me and I would like them, and you think that we would all work well together? And then I would ask them to facilitate a soft intro, or I'd ask them if I could use their name. And I would call them and say, hey, Todd, I got your name from Deborah. I was having coffee with her the other day. She said that, she thinks that we'd get along really well. I'd love an opportunity to meet you. I would try and find something in there to bridge that gap of just cold calling them. For me, if I'm cold calling an agent, it's because I have a luncheon. I have something of value that I'm inviting them to, and I'm calling them with a purpose. I think it's really hard to just cold call agents out of the blue and just say, do you want to meet with me?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion. So my suggestion would be try and figure out something of value that you can offer to them, so that when you're calling them, you're bringing value to them.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if that answers your question.
No,
Well, look at
that's
that.
great.
We've got none of the Mr. Savage joining us. How are you, Mr. Savage?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for kicking things off, Brian. It's good to see you again. I had
Dave Savage in the house.
yeah, I got to hang out with you at an Amplify. Brian and I went through an Amplify last year together. Or maybe it was this year. I don't know. Was it this year?
I don't even know.
I don't know. And then I got to be on your podcast recently.
Yeah.
But I just jumped in and heard you answer that, and no doubt that the most valuable way to get introduced to someone or to connect is to get introduced. But I would say, from the interviews I've done, I've also heard a lot of people, and I'm sure Deb would support this, is start following that person on social media, start commenting in authentic, intelligent ways on social media. Like, let's face it, if a realtor is playing that game and using that, they're going to appreciate someone. Again, do it in an authentic way, do it in a valuable way. Don't do it in, I think there's a lot of bad ways of doing it. Show them that you know them. And then I also, like, if you're on this call and you are absolutely struggling, open houses are a very winning way to be there. Show up with value. And then if you are going to call an agent cold, call an agent thoughtful, like, know their business. Maybe you call up about a specific property that has been on the market for more than a month, and you're calling up saying, hey, I noticed such and such property at such and such address. It's been on the market for 28 days. I've got an idea and a strategy of how financing could help you position that property, maybe even generate leads. So, but not calling agents, not connecting is not how you grow and you win.
Can I piggyback on that? Because I think you have a good idea there. So we have a program, we call it Sell Like the Builders. And so we go to a listing agent, and for example, on a 2-1 temporary buy down, the average cost there is about 2%. And as a lender, we credit 1% of the 2% buy down. So we're working with realtors and helping them sell their listings faster. So Deborah, back to the question you asked, and what I said was, I think you should always bring something of value. If your phone call is, hey, I have a way to help you sell your listings faster, and it doesn't cost you anything, you want to have coffee with me, now you have something of value.
What if they say, hey, I don't want to have coffee with you, you just tell me over the phone? What's your response to that?
I would say I would love to, but it just takes 10 minutes to I just need to show you in person what it is. And I can help you sell your listings faster, and I'm gonna help your seller save some money.
You don't ever do it on Zoom, like real quick, let's
I don't
jump
do
on.
anything on Zoom. The only thing I ever do on Zoom is like this or a podcast, and everything else is face to face. I don't do anything on Zoom.
So your bar consultations are all face to face?
Phone call,
Oh, okay.
just over the phone. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
did you already share how you use text videos with
We
agents?
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Yeah. We
Want
talked
to
about
make
that.
sure that's such a killer strategy.
Do you do
Oh,
anything like that with your clients, text videos?
I do not. No. We tried doing like like a video a little while ago. I just haven't
Oh,
done it. It probably works. Um, we just haven't done it. It's just you have to have to me, if you're going to do it, you need to go all in and have the time commitment that's provided to be successful at that, to really make it work. And we just haven't put the time into that. But it's a good idea, and for sure, there's value in doing that. We did them for a while, and actually, let me back up. I haven't done this recently, but the greatest success I had with videos was with Trust Engine, and I would make a video after someone closed. So we would take Trust Engine, and we would say, okay, you bought your house, whatever, $1 million, you put 20% down. If you pay $200 a month, $400 a month, $600 a month, $800 a month, here's how fast you can pay off your mortgage. Here's how much money you would save in interest. And one of the greatest amounts of feedback we ever got from our clients was sending that post-closing with a video that thanked them for their business and walked them through how they can save money on interest over the life of the loan. That's probably the most successful client videos that we've had continuously over and over and over.
And so you stopped doing them because they work so well?
I just stopped doing them for no reason. I actually have it's just
Sorry, I'm such a jerk. I'm such a
No,
jerk.
you're
Sorry.
right. No, I don't have to apologize. I
Can
just
you,
stopped doing them for no reason.
can you imagine if you did for the first meeting?
For sure. 100%.
I mean, if it works that well for after, I mean, you would think that's the hardest one to get is when you first get the referral and not
Yep.
losing to another lender or a builder that,
Yeah.
a little bit more sticky.
The struggle we've had, and I don't mean to sound bragging from this, it's been really tough for us to keep up with volume over the last year or two. Our numbers are actually up. So, and I've had to add members to our team. And in the adding members to the team, my focus has been in serving the clients. And I'm kind of just getting to a point now where the team has been built up. We're now serving the business sufficiently to go back and start adding in some of the video stuff. But it's been 2 years of just right now trying to keep up with just the volume that's coming in.
Is there
Well,
anything that you're doing different in these last 2 years from what you've shared or what you've always done? Like, how has it gone up when most people are starving right now?
2 years ago, I just made the full focus and commitment to bring realtors value. And that everything I was going to do was going to be to help them succeed in this market. Also, I think about this. So I've been doing this for 27 years. I lived in South Florida in 08 and 09. Okay, if you live in South Florida in 08 and 09, where real estate dropped 50% in value and half your clients lose their home to foreclosure and short sale, this market is paradise. So I think we gotta, part of it is this mental shift of how bad is the market? Well, if I look at our market here, Front Range, excluding Colorado Springs and Fort Collins, 4,500 real estate transactions took place last month. That's a lot of business. So is business down in its entirety? Yes. But can I grab 50 deals a month out of 4,500 a month? 100%. So we just made this very dedicated commitment and focus a couple of years ago that we're going to bring value to the real estate community by helping their business grow. That's it.
It's a pretty easy value proposition to state, but you're actually delivering on it, which I think is sort of the challenge. And so, one of the things that, we started off this conversation talking about is that you're really good at consistently doing the things that work. And, I obviously love the fact, as I said, that you're a big win by noon user. Kind of what's your thought to the loan officer then this year who's been struggling, who says, I don't have $2,000 to spend on lunch. It sounds like it's pretty easy for you to do this. But you know what? You gave a lot of free strategies away, right? Do a video, send it out. You know, you can certainly host a lunch and learn and not have it cost $2,000. I mean, what would you say to that person who's like, wow, this sounds amazing. I love this Brian guy, but gosh, I'm not him.
I mean, I circling back to what Dave said, I would be all over social media. I would be all over, you know, my we'll call it digital prospecting. I would be out at open houses every single week, and I would be with agents, co-hosting open houses, visiting open houses. I would talk to another agent, see if I could do a co-host a broker open with them. So, do you have a new listing that's coming up? You know, for a very small amount of money, can I provide, you know, some cheese board and drinks? You know, there's so many ways to just get out there in front of agents. You just have to really figure out how do you want to get out of your box and go do it.
Yeah, one of the things I would remind you all too is it's, you know, it's one of the things at First Home IQ that we're really passionate about is providing content to teach. And if you remember, I started earlier this year where I took the First Home IQ content and I did it on Zoom, which isn't the best way to do it. The best way to do it is do it in person, and do it somewhere where, you know, where a parent's going to be willing to show up with their kid to learn. And it could be super easy to do at your office in the conference room. But on Zoom, I did it. It gave me something to call realtors and talk about, something super different than anyone else was doing. I was providing financial literacy for their kids, and so many of them showed up without their kids because they felt like they needed the help with financial literacy as well. So just know it's a pretty inexpensive commitment to make every month to be part of a true nonprofit that's out there. That, as Dave calls it, it's the mortgage industry's nonprofit. We're out here trying to help you all. So if you haven't checked out First Home IQ and the content that we have available, that's just an easy button for you to get started. And you can kind of watch those videos that I did and see that it's not that difficult to prepare for. It's not that difficult to deliver. And I would encourage you to do it in person. And even if you had 3 families show up, that's more than, you know, you served last week with something like that. So anything else, Dave, you'd want to say on First Home IQ?
Just that it's such an incredible opportunity. I did some research lately, and take a guess how many people qualify to buy their first home right now at today's interest rates. Like, take a guess, Brian. How
5
many
million.
people?
5 million.
It's more than that. It's like
More
9
than 5
million.
million. How
9
many?
million and 9. And then as rates come down, the box opens because there are millions of consumers in your database that do qualify to buy a home. And you know why they're not buying a home? One, the majority of them do not know how much they really need to put down. The majority of them don't know really what their credit report needs to be. I mean, there's a lot of studies on this. I can't remember if it was NAR. Someone just put out a report. I think I've got a LinkedIn post that I'm currently writing on it that was like 50% vastly overestimate what their credit report needs, what their credit needs to be to qualify. Vastly, like 40 to 50% vastly underestimate just how little they could put down. And only 19% of them have talked to a realtor or a loan officer. So that means like 80% of them are just living in their own private Idaho. And so, you know, my message is get on the offense with your database, get on the offense in your local market, and start creating loans. Don't just wait for people to call you. Don't wait for realtors to say, hey, I got a first-time home buyer for you to talk to. Like, create loans. Like, don't wait for rates to come down, because that's only going to unlock, I can't remember what the number was. It does unlock like another 4 million people, I think, for every percent in rate. But 0.5% is what we're probably going to get. So that's going to unlock another 2 million people. But guys, we're sitting on a massive opportunity. Go on the offense. First Home IQ is your go-to partner if you want to be a specialist in first-time home buyers. And it is a resource to help you go on the offense and create opportunities.
I mean, another way is, I think an opportunity that is, you know, I did a first-time home buyer based event for a long time. I called it Beer, Pizza, and Buying a Home. Great name. And I literally served pizza. I would give everybody 2 drink tickets. I limited the type of beer because there's some beers that are expensive by the glass, and I limited the beers. And I would have an event and use a tool like you're describing, Dave, with yours. And I would go to agents and I would say, here's what I'm going to do. And I would let the agent fill the room with their people. Instead of waiting for the agent to call me and say, I have a first-time home buyer, I would let them fill the room with the parents that need the education, anyone that they know. And it was really successful getting 15 to 20 people in that event every single month over and over and over. And that didn't cost anything like the $2,000 Realtor event. Beer and pizza for a bunch of people was a couple $100s, and it was still getting a great room of people together every single time.
Love that.
Offense.
Yep, and that's it. And if you're struggling, well, what am I going to present? That's where the First Home IQ content comes in. It's already done for you. Just go to the website. You can actually access some of the content for free that you can use. So, it's not necessarily something we're trying to sell you, but you should be part of it anyway.
For sure.
All right,
So
so
I
we're in
think,
the last 9 minutes here.
So back to the question of what would I say to a brand new loan officer? I think the first thing is like find your passion, figure out what you love and how you want to help people. Is it First Home IQ? Do you want to help first-time home buyers? Do you want to help with financial education for parents and their kids? Do you want to help realtors succeed? Whatever, where's your passion? And what do you really love and what do you want to pour yourself into? And to me, pouring yourself into it means how do you want to help people? Because the more that you help people, whether it's fiscal education, grow their business, doesn't matter where it is, somehow it's going to come back to you. You got to help more than you hope to receive. And the more you just help people, the more it's going to come back to you. So I think first is find your passion is how do you want to help people? Do you want to have agents have the most successful open house possible? Great. Then pour yourself into that, come up with a plan. And that's your call to agents that you never met before is I have a plan to help you have the most successful open house possible. I'd love to sit down with you and show you how I can do this. Formulate a plan that revolves around your passion. And then you just got to commit to it. And you know what? You're going to fail. It's going to hurt. You're going to feel deflated sometimes. People aren't going to show up. You just got to keep going. It's just, the greatest businesses ever. Like Dave, MortgageCoach. When you all started, did you ever have a failure?
All the time.
Right. It's just, it's inevitable. Deborah, you ever fail at something?
Every day,
All of us,
especially with parenting sometimes.
True.
Like,
And
Mom,
so-
you're so cringe.
So it's just going to happen. You just have to know that it's just part of the journey and don't beat yourself up. And if you find what you're most passionate about, like fiscal education, then the passion's going to carry you from failure to success. And you just got to find what you love. And I think a lot of people struggle to figure out what they really love. And that's my first suggestion is sit down. There's so many opportunities, social media, first-time home buyers, the list goes on and on and on. What do you love? And then pour yourself into it.
But I think it also goes back to what you said at the very beginning of having a plan and working the plan, like winning by noon. And it's an easy to execute. It's simple. And if you commit to it every day,
Yep.
that it will work. But you have to work the plan. There is no magic pill. There's no shortcut to this.
No. And
So I love that you said with your team, like it's a non-negotiable. I think it brings clarity. It helps you track and even understand where's your business coming from. Like there's so much power in having a plan, working the plan, and winning by noon every day.
Yeah. And I would say, like, say you want to do an event on beer, pizza, and buying a home. Find your venue, pick the date, give a deposit. That will light a fire under your ass. And ideally that will force you to go do the work. But if you have your plan in place and you have the venue secured, give yourself whatever, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, secure your date, then work it.
And don't you find it makes it easier to prospect then?
Oh
Like
my
you
gosh,
get up every day with something to talk about. Like,
every day.
yeah.
Yeah, every day. It's great.
Yeah, and by
Well,
the
I
way,
think one of the
guys,
things-
I took a screenshot and I put the actual data in chat where 9 million Americans currently qualify for a mortgage but haven't engaged due to financial literacy gaps. That's 4x larger than the 2.2 million people that will qualify when rates come down 0.5%. So stop waiting for rates to come down. The opportunity is here now. Like, own your database, own your local market. If you win your database, you win your local market as a financial literacy leader. You got loans coming, you've got realtors who are going to help sell homes, get after it.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the bottom line is this, right? We're here at the end. And I want to make sure, Brian, that is there anything that we didn't talk to you about that you want to make sure that we just spend this last couple minutes chatting about?
nothing specific, no.
And so why don't we just why don't we put a bow on this, right? Because here's what I know, right? We had lots of actionable takeaways, but for better or worse, it's going to be executing on what Brian did consistently, right? That's what he talks about, is the fact that he actually has a plan about something he's passionate about so that he can work his 11 months a year. In fact, that would be my last question for you. I think a lot of people, when you said you just don't work in December, like they were freaked out. I mean, that I'm going to lose all my realtor partners. My clients are all going to fire me because I can't help talk to them in December. What's your response to that? And how do you overcome that objection with your agents?
Well, why do your realtors need to know you're going away? I don't ever post on social media when I'm out of town. The problem I found is I go on vacation, I come back and I'm charged up and I'm ready to work. And I call a realtor and they're like, oh, I just had a buyer, but I sent it to blah, blah, blah. I thought you were still out of town. So a long time ago, I just decided I do not promote when I'm going on vacation. So that the business just runs. And then you got to be strategic in how your cell phone is set up, call forwarding. Like I have a duplicate phone that my office has as well. It just duplicates my phone completely. And it's text messages, phone calls, and the phone just kind of passed around the office for depending on who has the coverage. So so the ball is never dropped on communication. And I should be clear, I don't fully check out for a month, but there's usually a very big time zone difference. So, I typically call and I check with my team every day when I can. Although one time I was in Namibia and I had zero service, 17 days, nothing, whether I liked it or not, nothing worked. And that's when I learned right there that we closed more deals than ever in the month of December. I was not able to be involved whether I wanted to or not, and everything went amazing. And that was about 10 years ago, and that's when I realized I can go away. It's in my head that I can't go away and I'm not needed, but if you train your team up and they can do 80% of what you do, you can go away for sure.
Love it. Love it. All right, Deborah, what's your close here?
I'm still thinking of the 17 days where we often like to think we're so important and it can't exist without us. And I'm sure that was very humbling at the same time. My biggest takeaway is just you got to be consistent with having a true strategy from start to finish with how you're going to get in front of agents and not make it about you and your service, but really focusing on what are their pain points and how can I help be the solutionist to that challenge or that problem. And just upping the venue. That was a big takeaway too, for the bottom feeders. Sorry that I said that again, but it just makes sense. You've made it more of a world-class experience, which also makes it easier to have them come back.
Love that. All right, Savage, how do you want to wrap up your part before I give it my win by noon close?
Well, I hope you guys got a lot of value from this. Always be masterminding. I am doing, I think at 1 o'clock today, Know Your Code Mastermind that I'm doing 1 hour every Friday right now, 1 o'clock. You want to join it, go to the first home, or not the first home, the Know Your Code private Facebook group, and there'll be a place that'll be obvious to go check it out. But anyways, Brian, you the man. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks,
I
buddy.
wish I was on the first half, but Todd, I'll let you close it out.
Well, I started off telling you that you were going to love Brian as much as I do. And it's not just because he is a OG win by noon user. It's because he actually is who he says he is as a human and as a loan originator. He's not afraid to work hard, right? He's the guy who already said, hey, I'm available 7 days a week, 8 to 8 to help you. He's never been afraid to work hard to serve. But he's built an excellent business as a result. He's built a business by design, right? He said it that the most successful real estate agents are the easiest for him to connect with because they actually run a business. And so my question for you is, would your realtors say the same thing about you? Right? Would they actually look at you and say, oh my gosh, I use my originator because she is the most consistent human being I know in life and in business. And think about how can you make it so that that's the person that they want to do business with? Because the bottom line is this. I know when someone sits in a room and hears Brian talk for 90 minutes and then he walks them through how they can improve their business. That's why they say yes when he calls them up later and says, can you come to lunch or coffee? Is because they've been impressed with who he is by just spending that time with them. But he had to build what he built consistently to get there in order to be there, in order to get them to do that follow-up meeting. So I'm excited to watch you become the #1 loan officer in Colorado, Brian. Thanks for pouring into our community. Thank you all for being here. As always, on behalf of Trust Engine, Win by Noon, Plug and Play SM, we are so grateful that you're here. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. Have a great one, everyone.